We all know fans of professional sports sometimes get out of control and things can turn ugly. But sports rage is not limited to professional sports. In amateur sporting events, there have been dozens of incidents in which the parents of children playing the games have attacked the other parents, the coaches, and sometimes the kids, sometimes even yelling at their own kids. Today, Ian and Jackie Davis are here. They're a husband and wife filmmaking team that just produced a documentary, What Happened to Fun, on the subject of violence in children's sports. Great to have you guys here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
So what is going on with these parents? They are worse than the kids. I thought they were supposed to be setting the example.
That's what you'd think, right?
Right. Who's the adult?
So far it's the children. What we found out have been the kids, have been more of the adults.
Yeah, the parents are out there still acting like kids. You know, the kids seem to have a better perspective on the whole thing than their parents.
And maybe, as you said, I think even in the documentary, or quote people are saying is that maybe they're living the lives through their kids. Is the
right,
problem.
living vicariously. Yeah, definitely. And they're seeing dollar signs more than they're seeing the children having fun, which is really sad. Because these are 5-, 6-year-old children out there playing.
And what do you see? What did you find? What is going on out there?
We found that above everything else, children's sports is moving away from just being something fun where, oh, we're going to go out and we're going to throw the ball around, we're going to, we're going to hit the bat around, we're going to argue about what happened, let it sort of be an organic thing. Now it's become completely rigid and structured, and it's turned into a business where everyone's in a uniform, they're all nicely organized, there's no sort of freedom to it.
Right, exactly.
And what are the parents doing? How are they reacting to that then? Now that it's a business and they know you can make money out of it,
that's the problem. The parents, well, there's two different types of parents that we found. And the parents that are so there for the children, that will spend any waking moment driving their children all over the place to go to different games and buy all the different activities, everything for these kids. And then you have the parents that feel that I've spent all this time, you need to win. You need to do this. You better win. Why are you wasting my money? Why are you wasting my time? And these children, there's only so much they can do, and the experts that we've spoken to have all said that there's only a certain amount a child can understand, let alone their physical capabilities of playing the games.
Right. And because what age are we talking here?
Well, we did it from anywhere from 4 years old to, the children that we showed in our film were 4 years old to 12 years old.
4 to 12. And they're already having their parents standing there yelling at them, why didn't you win? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The family we worked with, the family we followed, they were really great. The father is a PE teacher, and he's a coach, so he's a professional. He knows how to deal with kids, and he was able to give his sons a really good experience because he understands the pressures, and he understands that you can go too far, you can really mess kids up with this, and you can ruin the experience. So they were really good, but you would see parents on the sidelines just haranguing their kids, just on and on and on. It's like, get up to the ball, get up to the ball, get up to the ball. Okay, move back, move back, move back, move back. And the kid's like, the soccer ball.
Yeah, they didn't know what's going on. They start crying, and and parents are screaming, and then they feel embarrassed from the other parents because now they're like thinking they're setting this example, but you're acting like a child, and these children are standing there, are worse, exactly. And then what we've also found, with more of us starting, was it just got to be so ugly. It's just so ugly. The parents.
And you hear the headlines. What are some of the incidents that have occurred?
Well, one of the most horrible ones is two fathers got in a fight after a hockey game, and the one father ended up killing the other father just in a fist fight. He just kept punching him, and
in front of the children, in front of the man who died, his son was screaming. Mothers were crying and trying to tear the father off of him, and beat him to death. And then with other coaches coming onto the field with bats and beating the coaches, I'm sorry, not coaches, but other parents coming and beating coaches with bats in front of like a girls' soccer league or a baseball league, and just horrendous stories.
Well, so you've got the parents going after other parents. You've got the parents going after the coaches or the officials, I assume. The coaches get in on it sometimes too?
Oh, yes.
We interviewed one gentleman who used to be an umpire. And he was attacked by a coach from one of the teams just because he was trying to discipline one of the kids, and someone had acted out, and he was saying, okay, well, you're out, and the next thing he knows, the father's in his face, and they're yelling and screaming, and it turns into a full-blown fist fight where the guy has to go get stitches, has broke his finger. It's coming from all angles, and everyone involved in the sport.
And it's not only men, it's women too. And the women are also brutal. The women, it's more of like the mob aspect. One mom starts, and then all of a sudden 20 moms are piling up. And it's just, we hear these stories one after another, and it's just, there's no end to it right now. It's gotten so out of control.
Yeah, I read one incident online, something like 2 women beat up another one with, like, I don't know, it was like a stroller or an umbrella, or I don't know what it was. It was like, you know.
They use anything. They use anything.
And I assume so they disagree with the call or something, and that's what triggers this.
Exactly. Well,
it's a bad call.
No, it's a bad call, and sometimes it's not even the call. They're saying that, a lot of the experts are saying that we have in our film, saying that it's just other things, just underlying. They have all these problems with the world in general, and they're keeping everything bottled up, and that finally they're able to release themselves, and then they go overboard, like they, you know, with work and just with just the society and just everything, and so then now they're going crazy.
Yeah, as people have said, you know, one expert I think said that we call it sports rage. Well, you know, we're familiar with the concept of road rage, and we've got all this rage out there in society that people are, you know, on the highway, you run them off the road. At the Little League game, you go beat up the other parents.
Exactly.
And so I don't know what that says about our society, but...
it's not healthy.
One of the, working from that, one of the things that one of our experts says is that the real problem is that it's a parent seeing their kids involved. You know, when you're on the road, it's just you and, you know, this anonymous person over in the car. At work, it's one of your coworkers. But when you see someone getting involved with your own child, it triggers something else, and that's a lot of times what pushes people beyond, like in road rage, you're not going to pull over the car and most of the time and get in a fight. Now, next to the 4 or 5.
Somebody was talking about an incident they saw yesterday or the other day where they did. Yeah, they watched it stuck in traffic, one guy beating up the other guy.
It's like a free show.
It's frightening.
But you know, when you see your kid getting involved in this, it just triggers something worse.
Do you know what the statistics are? I've seen a few numbers myself, but I've heard that well, certainly people think it's on the increase.
It is on the increase. The problem is there's just, kids sports in general is so much larger. It's so much more organized. Everyone's involved in it, and like I said, it's very much more of a business now. So more people are getting involved, and you're having a brighter eye shown on it, you know, brighter light shown on the whole subject. So
the figures I heard something like it used to be 5%, and now it's 15% of the parents or something. I don't know if that, again, if that jives with what you.
Well, we actually never got like hard statistic, like a number, because we were doing all different counties and all different states, and and so it was just. But the increase, with all experts said, it was just out of control from what it was before, and that the Sandlot days are so far and few.
And the thing is, even, you know, I thought from the other perspective, what you may not realize, then, even if it's, let's say, 15%, you know, which is bad enough. But I think it was Sports Illustrated did a study with 3,000 kids, and they said that 74% had witnessed some kind of incident. Because you have to think about it. I mean, if, you know, even if it's only 50%, if it's like one person per game, all the kids on the field are seeing that. So they're used to, like, every time they go to the game, they see the parents. You know, it's almost like every game is something's happening really for them. And then I'm wondering what does that say to the kids? Number one, what kind of example does it set really? What are they learning about sports and life? And
it's funny you say that, because one of the children in our film. He says he's seen so many different incidents on the field, and he's only 11, and he's seen so many different fights between coaches and parents. And he says, you know, to him, he's not afraid of it. He thinks it's stupid. He doesn't understand why parents are acting this way, and it really sheds so much light on it. These children are like, I'm not scared of you at the moment, but I just don't understand you, and you're acting like a kid, and it's.
And some of them are there trying to have fun.
Yeah, well, most of them are all. Yeah, that's the whole point of it. That's the point.
What the hell's going on?
He said it's a great game, and I love it. But he's like, I can't enjoy it when the parents are screaming. We were shooting one day, and a coach got into a fight at a high school game. Just got into a fight with the umpire.
And this is when you were doing the documentary.
And we're just filming. Yeah, exactly. Just.
Did they know you were there doing the documentary?
Oh, yeah. We were on the side.
I was sort of sitting off to the side.
Okay. Well, either way, it was just the coincidence.
Yeah, but the weirdest thing was that it was the coach from the team that was winning. At the time he got into the fight, and then they won the game, and he still kept at the ump. They had to be pulled apart
when they're winning.
Yeah.
When they're winning.
And sometimes, as the one kid that said, I think, by a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
And even then,
it's like, still way ahead. You know, let it go. It's just a game.
Well, and you mentioned again the business aspect of it, and the fact that people. Well, maybe rage in general, but I think people are thinking, you know, their little Johnny's going to become the next Tiger Woods or the next, you know, whatever, in Michael Jordan or, you know, whatever, David Beckham, I don't know. So is that part of it, that, you know, they think that their professional career is? Definitely.
The college scholarships leading into being professional all-stars and making gazillion dollars is definitely the major focus for most of these parents.
I mean, they see that their kid could make $25 million over 5 years, something I'll never make in my entire life, or even see that much money, and they see that, they're like, oh wow, you know, this is our ticket out. Our kid could be, you know, so happy and so popular and a huge star and he'll be rich. We have to start him now, and he's 3.
We'll be right back with Ian and Jackie Davis.
Parents who engage in sports rage have simply lost perspective. They think that a Little League game with a bad call is the end of the world.
What'd she do? She did her job! Go home if you don't know how to play the game! Come on, guys! You're killing me!
And this occurs when parents become so invested that their self-esteem becomes based upon how their kids perform and whether the teams win.
And when the team is not doing well, or when somebody is hurting the team in their mind, they are hurting them personally.
And we are back with Ian and Jackie Davis talking about sports rage. Well, we were talking about, you know, the parents who think that their kids are going on to do big time in sports, but realistically, the percentages of kids who actually do even get a college scholarship are pretty low.
It's 6 in 1 million chance.
6 in 1 million. And that's for the scholarship.
That's for scholarship.
And what about going professional?
Well, going professional, we didn't get that, but it would definitely be about the same.
Yeah. Well, I think I saw something that, yeah, it was like 1 in, it was low. I mean, out of athletes, out of like people who, it was very low. I mean, it was low. So it's not the well, maybe it is like winning the lottery. I don't know. Maybe that's the.
One of our experts put it really well that it's like trying to apply for a job where there's not 5 or 6 other applicants. It's applying for a job where there's 50,000 other people applying for the one exact slot you want to.
But somebody's got to win, and it's going to be little Johnny.
It's going to be little Johnny, exactly.
We just get him that one extra lesson, we take the one extra practice, we start him 1 year earlier, it's going to be him, you know.
The thing that I thought was interesting, now I don't know, I mean, you mostly went around America, right?
Yes.
Or around, okay.
Yes.
Well, when I was checking online, I saw an Australian website that was talking about this problem, and I thought, so I'll be damned, even down under it's
we
going
saw
on.
that.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay.
we saw that, yeah. We actually contacted them, yes, that's funny.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is probably
it's
worldwide
phenomenon. It's like we said, and like everyone said, it's gotten so out of control that it's all over the world. It's not just the United States. The United States, we definitely know more about it because of our media and stuff, but Australia, New Zealand, even in Czech Republic we found some stuff, and just crazy.
So what do you do about it? I know that there's been legislation in some cases.
We had 2 representatives, actually, Republican and a Democrat in Connecticut, try to pass a bill on sports rage.
It made an assault on anyone involved in an official capacity with children's sports, turned it into a felony.
Wow.
That was their way of saying, okay, we need to put the brakes on this. This is kind of like the end.
Well, because at the moment, what happens? I mean, what do? They just get a slap on the wrist generally, unless they kill somebody? I mean, or what? I mean, people don't, nothing really happens.
It was a misdemeanor. It wasn't, they wanted to give it some teeth, basically.
So it's a felony now?
Yeah, it's felony.
To make it a felony.
Yes.
The other end of the spectrum, to sort of catch it before it starts happening, is the education aspect. We talked to one organization, the National Alliance of Youth Sports, where they try to promote programs to all the organizations throughout the nation, saying, here's some standards you should follow. Here's how to keep things in perspective. And then we talked to someone who had actually used the program and who had said, it's getting out of control. Our league is insane. We're spending all of our time handling complaints, handling these incidents. Let's just nip it in the bud. We're going to educate everyone.
And that's the thing, not only talk about the example for the kids, but it was actually on this Australian website I saw that it said that, number one, it's hurting the clubs themselves. Well, number one, they were having a hard time getting officials. Like, people were quitting the game, they didn't want to be involved because if they're getting beat up by the parents, or they couldn't get people to volunteer, or whatever they do.
Exactly.
And number two, it was just hurting the clubs overall. I mean, like you said, there are all kinds of logistical, legal, God only knows what other kinds of issues, because you've got the crowd attacking the kids, the parents,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a wild west now out in the field, pretty much.
But you mentioned some of the guidelines, though, in the place that had tried it. What are some of the guidelines? And
well, they're saying that you have to take a class before you go to a game. Like, once your child is signed up for a league, you have to take a mandatory 30-minute class on how to act appropriately in front of children. And some parents at first
don't pick up the baseball bat.
Exactly.
Prepare.
Stay off the field.
All those little things. Mommy and Daddy never told you.
No swearing, no throwing things out of the field. and most of it is to stay positive. It's just trying to promote it as a positive experience, because it is. It's a really great thing for kids to be involved in sports. They're going to learn so much about the way the world works just from being involved in a competitive arena, and you know, these organizations don't want it to turn sour and be a negative for these kids, who will, you know, 70% of kids drop out of sports by the age of, you know, 14.
Because of some of those kind
exactly.
of things.
It becomes not fun anymore. It becomes stress. Like, you want to go play baseball because it's fun. You don't want to go play baseball because it's work.
Yeah. Could watch Mommy and Daddy go fight.
It's always a big show.
Come on, guys! You're killing me!
Well, did the guy who killed the other parent, what kind of jail time did he get? Do you know? I mean, is he in jail now, or was it involuntary manslaughter?
He got involuntary manslaughter.
Okay, and how many years in?
Well, he is still in jail.
Yeah, he's still in prison now, and it happened in 2005.
Yes.
So we don't have the exact numbers, but he got a serious sentence. You know, it wasn't a slap on the wrist with some community service.
He also had a prior record of violence.
Yeah. Prior record.
Yes, of major violence, supposedly. So.
Yeah, so this.
Well, you had mentioned the classes, and I know that at one place, I think, once they went through the class, then the parents maybe even pulled back the other way, and they were like, well, can we clap, or can we cheer, or can we...
Right.
You know, so people...
The first time they had it, supposedly when the, Mr. Leslie, who we had in our film, he installed it, and it's in the Jupiter DeQuesta Association League. And so when they had the first game, no one was clapping, no one was like cheering, everyone was completely silent, because they were like, we're afraid to, like, we don't want to be over the top, we don't hold back. And he's like, it's okay for us to clap? And he's like, it's fine, as long as you're doing it in a positive way, because as long as it's positive, the children will love it, and they need it, and this is great, and you're here to enjoy your time with your child. So it was really funny, because
stay up in the stands.
Yeah, just don't come to the field with a bat. You know, it's okay.
Although I read too that I think one town though had constructed what they called like a parent-proof or a child-proof, adult-proof stadium or something, where they moved. The seats were far enough from the field that the kids couldn't hear them or something. I guess so that I guess you don't hear the cheering and the clapping, but they also couldn't hear the yelling and screaming like, "You idiot! What'd you do?"
Oh, I've never heard that. That's funny.
Yeah, that's how crazy it is, that it's gotten to the point where you have to remove parents from their own kids, because they can be a negative, they can be damaging to this, you know, something that's supposed to be simple and innocent.
That's the thing, not even, beating up the other parents, the coach, but sometimes really berating their own kids.
Exactly.
You know, like, you little idiot, or, you know, you never do anything right, and talk about the problems that can be for the kid. I mean, not only just, to have your parents yelling at in public, I mean.
Well, and they were saying also, one other person we had in the film said, you know, you think coming home from a game and you're not saying anything to your child and you're completely silent. Like, I'm not yelling at my kid, I'm not berating my child, I'm not telling him how bad he did, but you being silent the whole way home, your child knows that you're mad at him and that you're making him feel awful about how he played. And so you have to stay focused and stay positive the entire time, and don't think I'm holding it in and be completely silent, but you have to show the child, like, you know what, it's okay, you had fun, you did a great job today, next time you lost, you'll do better next time. We're going to be with you, we'll support you, and that's it. That's how it should be. These children are 6, 7 years old, you know, so.
Yeah, they're going out there, they want to say, oh, Dad, look, I hit a home run, oh, you know, aren't I great, instead of just.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So if you're one of the adults sitting at home wondering whose kids are in the events, how do you know if you have a problem? Or if people don't know they have a problem, what can we clue them into that... Well, first, one expert said if your spouse doesn't want to sit next to you, that's probably a good sign.
That's a key right there.
If they're telling maybe you should stay home from the game, honestly, the best way to know if you're doing it right or not is your kid having fun? That is that simple. Do they want to be there? Do they want to say, oh yeah, let's go to practice? Oh, let's go to the game. This is going to be great.
Are they happy you're with them?
Yeah, maybe Mom can take me today, or maybe I can go with Billy. They'll take me over there. Why don't you stay home? If they're happy, if they're having fun, that's the easiest way to tell.
We'll be right back with Ian and Jackie Davis. And we are back with Ian and Jackie Davis today talking about sports rage. Well, so what is the right age to introduce the kids to sports? And is there sort of phases? Because, for instance, I had heard some people say, maybe you have them start playing at a certain age, but in just sort of a non-competitive way without scorekeeping even, or really a sense of who's winning and losing, but more for the fun of it. What's your take on that? How do you ease your kids into sports then?
Well, it ultimately depends on the kid, and as a parent, you should be able to hopefully a sense of, well, he's still a little unprepared to be involved in something structured and rigid. But there are programs, like you said, where it's, okay, we're playing soccer, but it's just everyone's kind of out there playing. We're going to kick the ball around. You scored. Okay, great. Now we're back to 0. There's no scorekeeping. Some kids actually, in the film, their youngest boy was. Their league was a little more organized, but he was able to handle it. It wasn't like he was lost in it. He was physically capable of performing, which is a big key.
Huge key.
If you're going to be up there at bat for 10 minutes trying to hit the ball, it's not going to be fun. But if you can, quickly see results, that's going to be good. So if the kid can play physically, that's good. It's like the one expert told a story about. He had a bunch of 5-year-old soccer girls, and he didn't have enough kids on his team because it was a holiday, and the other coach wouldn't lend him a couple kids to fill out the side, so everyone could just go out there and play soccer. It had to be it had to be structured. They had to be competing, and at 5 years old, that's just not healthy.
So, what age do you think for most kids, though? Do you have kids?
Yes, we do.
Okay. What age did your kid start?
Well, our child is 2, so she's definitely not playing
yet. When are you going to have her start?
when we feel that when she's ready, when she wants to, when she shows any types of initiative to go play, and some children are as ready as 4 or 5 years old. They say. Honestly, my own personal opinion, I don't think at least 6 or 7 years old, because they can barely walk still at 4 years old. So to have them out there and to feel that pressure on playing and it just might be a little too much that time. So I mean, for me, my own personal opinion, it would be like 6 or 7.
And then you could start planning the college career and the professional.
Right, I'll start planning.
10 or 12.
I'm thinking 8. I'll start planning
8.
for college. Yeah. No, I mean that's another thing. And when it gets into the whole high school level, also, and just changes drastically.
But the studies though said that actually the parents tend to be worse with the younger kids, right, than with the older kids.
Right.
Because
they've already kind of at that point. Some parents that we found have given up at the high school age. Well, at 5, 6 years old, they can really mold them. They can get them out there. They can pay for the private lessons and the private teachers and the private coaches, and they're going to get them going. And then when they get to high school, and they're just like, I don't want to play.
And the kid's still not supporting them.
And not exactly. Wow. So they're just like, okay, well, they feel they have like that stronghold at that young age.
And also, by the time you get to the high school level anymore, it's almost like you are now set on a course. If you can still make a team at the high school level, you've already sort of moved into another bracket of skill and ability. Everyone's sort of washed out already. So not everyone is like, well, you have to drive. They're already getting there. Right. So the pressure isn't quite as bad, but it's still pretty insane.
I thought one comment was interesting that one expert said that part of the problem is just that I don't know what this says about our society, but a lot of people just don't have a sense that it's wrong or incorrect behavior by the parents. Like nobody ever told them that you don't go. For instance, in hockey, I have friends who play hockey and love it, and a lot of them will claim that hitting each other over the head with the sticks and fighting is part of the hockey culture, and that's just the way it is. Not politically correct, but that's the way it is. Yeah. So, but I think do you think that's true? A lot of parents
definitely
just don't have a sense that you don't go to the game and get in a brawl. That you're there to have fun and enjoy it.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I feel that most parents, when it comes to sports, it's in general at any level, it's such a personal thing for each person, and they don't feel that they feel like everyone's screaming and carrying on, and it's okay, and it's more of like you should be, and if you're not carrying on, why are you here? So I definitely feel that that's a major problem, and they don't realize that and then you go to different levels. You have the big sporting events, but when you go to a child, you have to take into consideration these are children. These are not professional athletes. These are like 5, 6-year-olds that are playing, and if you're carrying on like that, how are they going to take that?
Right. And again, the example it sets. What drew you to this topic?
We have our executive producer. She's a huge sports fan, and we were talking one day about the violence in sports rage, and then when we kind of started brainstorming, and then when we started researching it, and found out how insane it has gotten, it was just like this, we have to address this topic.
Well, thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you.
Also, Jackie and Ian Davis.
Thank
you. The documentary is on Sports Rage, What Happened to Fun. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. I was going to say Ian and Jackie Davis, but I was reaching for you first. And it's not that I knew you were.
We're intertwined.
Jackie, not
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.